and then we'll have a bit of a play around. That seems to be going all right. Let me just... Technology, ladies and gentlemen. If we are live, let us know in the chat if we are live. I've got one massive unit. Let's see how we go. Alrighty, let's get rid of that. There we go. Oh. There. I reckon that looks a bit better. Let me double check with everyone. If we are live, we look to be live. Get everyone saying, yes sir, live. This is brilliant. Don't worry about all the little bits and pieces. We all know that I struggle with live technology and just technology in general. Just quickly to all of my Patreon legends. For just 50 cents a week, you can find more in the bottom of your jeans or when you clean out your car. 50 cents a week. You can support the Aussie Armwrestler there. Good to see people climbing into the chat and having a laugh. And as I go back to the screen, mate, there is not a camera big enough for the unit I've got there. And we are just meeting for the first time. We quickly said hello and then we have just jumped on live. This hairy-shouldered wildebeest has made the jump from strength training all the way to our arm wrestling world, and we are very, very grateful. We are grateful for that. He's made the jump. He's the man that is going to deflate the tyres of Larry Wheels at King of the Table 2. And, you know, there's power, but there is filthy power. Filthy power. So I am about to welcome Brandon Allen to the Reeeeeady BANG! The #1 live stream in the world. I am your host, the Aussie Armwrestler. And of course, I am your 2019 Melbourne Cup left arm 80 to 95 kilo third place getter. That's right, Brandon. You lick your lips at the most sought after trophy in the arm wrestling world. Brandon, my man, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
No, I'm absolutely loving it. I'm not, as you can tell by my spaghetti arms, I enjoy strength training more watching side than doing it myself. So I've been keeping an eye on you for a while, and then all of a sudden with your contacts down there or over there or left there in Sin City, you've made the jump into the arm wrestling world.
Yeah, I'm full blown into it, man. I love it. I've been training arm wrestling for probably just shy of 2 years now, with about a 4-month break in between there from a surgery I had. So but all my training now is primarily focused on arm wrestling. I still do powerlifting movements 4 days a week, but the focus isn't there. It's maybe an hour workout, and then I do like a 3-hour arm wrestling workout. So yeah, I'm fully into it, man. I love this stuff.
Now, yeah, probably have the one of the experts that we can talk about. But just quickly, Cooper Maxwell, your big ledge, he says, "Ready bang, good evening to all." Thank you, Cooper, for your $4.99 super chat. Now, because you lift, and you lift stupid amounts of weight. Like the human body cannot lift what you have been lifting. So everyone, go check out Brandon Allen, Filthy Power. It's some phenomenal stuff. How much, because arm wrestling is the dumbest, greatest sport in the world. Like, your body's not meant to move the way it goes. How does that affect your lifting? Now, you're a professional lifter. You're lifting, like I said, stupid amounts of weight. Does it affect it, or have you worked out a really good balance?
It definitely affects it. For example, if I were still being a competitive powerlifter, there's just no way I would be able to do the arm wrestling training that I'm doing. Anyone that's tried to bench press after a hard arm wrestling practice knows what I'm talking about. The forearms are just spent. Everything hurts. Deadlifting sucks. Hanging onto the bar is rough. All my deadlifting that I do now, I wear straps. But, in powerlifting, you don't wear straps. And, so I'm able to still get decent deadlifts in. But, I've just been riddled with injuries from powerlifting. I took it to the highest level. I competed in Australia 2018 and put up some massive numbers, and then was plagued with injuries after that and some bad luck in a motorcycle accident. Basically, I was forced to be sidelined with powerlifting, which then opened up the world of arm wrestling to me. And it's a sport that I love. It's something that I feel like I can do for a long time, and my body will be able to handle it for a very long time. There's legends in the sport that are still active now, or attest to that. So I know that with powerlifting, you have a very short window of when you can be very, very competitive. At least I know with my genetics, the window wasn't very long. And so I'm happy I'm here. It sucks that I got here the way I did, forced here through injuries, but it was something I kind of always wanted to do. I knew I was going to do it. Just going to all the expos, competing in powerlifting throughout the years. I've seen the arm wrestling stuff. I have friends like Derek Smith and compete in it, so I watched his matches. And then I was like, man, I want to do that. And then I would do it a couple times, and I would be so sore after I wouldn't be able to bench. I'm like, I'm not doing that for a long time. And then but now that I'm not too worried about my bench, I'm able to really dive into the arm wrestling stuff. I honestly, I love it. It's a lot of fun.
Now, who was the one that just tapped you on the shoulder? So you were turning up to all these expos, and then who just gave you that nod and said, "Big fella, hey, come over here"?
So again, I've had a lot of exposure to it through the expos. I've been going to expos since I was 15 years old. But it's hard to say. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's just 15 years old lifting. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. Since I was a little kid, I was going to expos, and then probably the first competitive arm wrestling that I was introduced to was. Let me decline this call. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I had a call come in. My bad. So I would have to say it was Derek Smith who got me, into it competitively. But at the same time, I was doing a seminar at a powerlifting seminar at a gym in California, where that's where I first met Derek Smith, and I also met Kyle DePue. Yeah. And Kyle DePue at the time was like a 16-year-old, kind of a skinny fat kid, not much muscle to him, and he wanted to arm wrestle me, and he was just way too fucking confident. I was like, why does this 16-year-old kid want to arm wrestle a 330-pound man? I was like, he knows something I don't know. I'm not. There's no way I'm getting on the table with this. So, I was smart not to get on the table because he would have crushed me. But yeah, so I guess kind of those guys are probably the ones, And then again, when Larry started talking about it more, on his channel, I've known of Larry Wheels and through powerlifting since he was 18 years old and stuff like that. We've always competed against each other and things like that. So I've always watched his stuff. When he started dabbling more in arm wrestling, it got me a lot more excited about it. I was like, oh shit! I was like, this is pretty cool, And then again, the injuries made it happen, and so I guess the injuries are the main reason why I got into it. But I would have to probably give the main credit to Derek Smith.
Yeah, nice. Quickly, shout out to Carolyn Looms with the super chat. She says, "Make 4 inches big again. Great gym, yes. Robert or best." What's all that about? Make 4 inches big again.
It's just a play on Donald Trump's campaign when it was "Make America Great Again." I have some flags. There's this guy out in Havasu, this lake out here we party at. He had these flags that said "Make 4 inches big again." And I was like, that is fucking hilarious. So I, if you know me, you know my personality. That's right up my style. So I bought these flags off of them. They're up in my gym. I have them on my desert card and stuff. I love it. It's just fun. Gets a lot of attention.
I was gonna say, I thought maybe Carolyn might have had some dirty laundry on you, but I'm glad that wasn't the case, because you're a happily married man, and anyone that brags about their wife is a fan of. I'm a fan of. I brag about my wife all the time, and you speak very highly of your wife. Oh
yeah, and let's be honest, 4 inches is a little ridiculous too. I mean, there's no one really has a giant 4-inch penis. That's fake. That's like CGI fake stuff that you guys see on TV. An adequate size would be 2.5, maybe 3. My wife says mine's perfect, so I don't.
Oh, isn't that the best pat on the back, isn't it? You're just thinking you're an absolute stud. The shoulders are slapping the shoulders, and then, no, it's not too big. It's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah, shut up.
The other one's
we know you're lying. And I tell you what, it's so much to go through. I'm glad you brought up Kyle DePue, because you thought he was a cheeky little fat kid. So you held on to that, and that's really bothered you. Because then you went and beat up his dad, the other week in a super match. So obviously there's beef between you and Kyle. So was that your first sanctioned super match against Dave?
It was. So I just competed in a tournament at FitCon in Utah, maybe a month or several months prior, and that was like my first competitive arm wrestling thing I did. And not no disrespect to the guys that showed up. It was a weak turn up. I did really well, which was good for my first tournament to kind of see how it goes, and get my first one out of the way with not too much competition to where I was able to be pretty dominant. And then Dave or Kyle DePew was hosting King of Cali, and Dave calls me. I'm out of town on vacation. Dave gives me a call, and he's like, "Hey, would you be interested in a super match with me at Kyle's event?" I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it, man." So I'll never back down from anything. I'm a gamer. I'm down for it, and I was excited for the opportunity. I was a little nervous. Dave has been arm wrestling for almost 15 years or so, and he's got a very strong hand. And he's a power lifter and strongman too. So I've been familiar with Dave for a long time, and we're good friends and everything like that. And yeah, so I was honored that he asked me to do it. I went out there. If you've seen the match, it went well in my favor. It was 3-0.
Smashed him.
Again, a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I definitely put a hurting on him. Then after pulling, we pulled again to see if it was a fluke or not, and it definitely wasn't. And
now, like, after that one, look, when anyone that comes into the arm wrestling world, the Aussie Armwrestler absolutely loves it. And more and more people are coming in as the chat fills up with "Let's go, Brandon." I only learnt that the other week what that meant. I was calling a match, and everyone was saying that, and I was like, "Who's this Brandon guy?" And it turned out it's an awesome, and I'm all for it. So let's go, Brandon. Let's go, Aussie Armwrestler.
Yeah, weird. I didn't realize America was such supportive of the arm wrestling community. My transition from powerlifting to arm wrestling, but it's been great.
Oh, we're loving it, and now you're even dabbling in a bit of organising events and organising tournaments. Yeah. So, guys, Brandon has teamed up with Eric Spotto, and it's happening this weekend. This is why I wanted Brandon on the show this week, because Brandon's going to go into the details. There's 2 massive super matches that'll allow Brandon to hype up. I am keen for it, and depending on what time it starts, the Aussie Armwrestler will be setting his alarm to check out these matches. But before you give the details, mate, what made you decide to start organising events?
So when I attended my first tournament, I realized how there's not a lot to it, to organizing and getting it going. I know how to promote. I love promoting events. I've been doing it for 8-9 years now, hosting powerlifting events and stuff like that. It's just something I love to do. So when I attended, I realized, like, man, this is something we can really do. So I was going to throw this. I was going to make this happen, and I had a venue out here in where I live, just outside of Vegas, set up. And obviously, the main part of this was to get Eric Spotto a super match. And Eric Spotto bought my gym recently during COVID. She bought Filthy Power Gym and is now Sin City Iron, and invested a ton into it. The gym's amazing. So Eric was like, "No, I want it at my gym." So it was easy. We're like, "All right, well, we'll partner up on this and make it happen." I knew to add legitimacy to this, I needed to get a sanction involved. So I know that there's a little unorganization in arm wrestling right now, I'd say, and in terms of just sanctioning and just hosting events and then super matches counting and not really good or officiating or so on. So I reached out to Bill Collins, someone I'm a fan of the sport and know exactly who he is, just through that, and I got his number through Kyle DePew, I believe, and then I reached out to Bill, or maybe it was, I don't remember who, but either way, I got his number through someone. Reached out to Bill, I told him my idea, and he said he'd love to be a part of it, and we can make it a UAL sanctioned event. So that's kind of how it went. And then there's really been nothing in Southern Nevada. There's a good tournament up in Northern Nevada called Hawthorne. There's a lot of cool footage at, and but that's an 8-hour drive from down here. And where we're located in Las Vegas, it's a great spot because you have California, Utah, Arizona, Idaho, all within a very short drive away. And then it's Las Vegas. Who doesn't want to go to Vegas? So flying into here and making a weekend of it, it just makes sense. You know what I mean? We're in the right spot. So, originally it was supposed to be Eric Spotto versus Chance Shaw, who I kind of was hyping that up. I was reached out to Chance. We're talking, and I was saying how Chance was, clowning on Eric. He wasn't. I was just making that up to get Eric interested. So, that was going to happen. We thought we had it secured. Chance ended up having to change of plans for one reason or another. Wasn't able to make it out. So, it was far enough out. It wasn't going to hurt the event at all. And, I've been a huge fan of Mike Aiello for years. I used to see him at the expos. I'm like, look at this guy. He's like the super bro, just fucking yoked, tan, tatted, like jacked, huge arms. Like, this guy's awesome. And then, following him on social media, he's got a similar personality to me.
Oh, yeah,
so I was like, oh, great. Oh, yeah, I love the guy. So I knew he was a gamer too. You know what I mean? He's down to pull. So I hit up Mikey and I was, hey, man, I was like, would you be interested in coming out to Vegas? And he goes, you fucking want me to pull Eric Spoto, don't you? And I was like, yes, sir. And then he was like, all right, fuck it, I'll do it. So we're like, cool, man. So we make the arrangements happen. We got Mikey Aiello coming out to pull Eric Spoto. For those of you that don't know who Eric Spoto is, he's a mammoth mutant, 722-pound raw bench presser and held the all-time world record for many years. He's also an amazing arm wrestler, one of the strongest human beings on the planet. He's got pins on Devin Larratt in training and things like that. And so, he's a monster. And, Devin's hyped him up for years, saying he's the underground king. And it's time we do it officially, you know what I mean? So Eric is going to be doing his first super match in a very long time versus Mike Aiello with Bill Collins as the head ref. I think it's going to be a 6-round match, maybe 5-round. I'm not sure. We haven't discussed all that yet, but we will. And then when I was just down in King of Cali, Tony Thomason is out there. Tony's been to my practices. I've pulled Tony a few times. I like the guy. He's a great dude. So I know Tony was down for a match. I just reached out to him and said, hey, man, would you do a match left-handed? He goes, yeah. He goes, against anyone. I don't care. I reached out to Cody Merritt, being number one in North America.
Love Cody.
Yeah, the first tournament I've ever gone to watch Derek Smith pull at, he pulled Cody Merritt. And this time Cody ran through him. And I was, I don't know anything about arm wrestling at this time. So I'm like, what the fuck was that, Derek? He's like, oh, dude, that's Cody Merritt. Like, he's legit. I'm like, oh, dude, come on. Like, busting his balls. So, I just reached out to Cody and I was like, hey, would you be interested? And he got back to me. He said, yeah, I'd love to do it. I asked Tony, would you pull Cody? Tony didn't hesitate, said, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. So we got Cody Merritt versus Tony Thomason, left hand for a super match. The King of Cali versus number one North America. Should be interesting to see how that goes. We had a few other matches in the works that just kind of fell through. I really wanted to get Rob Topi out for a left-handed match. We couldn't get a competitor for him. Whether I just don't know the right people to ask or what. I just couldn't get anyone that was interested in pulling in with the terms that we had.
I'm left third place amateur, mate. I'm surprised the phone didn't ring. Just saying. Just what?
Next time I'll keep you in mind. So I don't know if Topi's still coming out to pull in the tournament. I think he will. Either way, it'd be cool to have him out. But so those are the super matches. We were working real hard to get Sarah Beckman a super match. Sarah's been out to my gym maybe a year and a half ago, and I got a poll with her. She's just incredible. Yeah. And no one wanted that match. People were, as soon as I said Sarah, they're like, oh, no. Yeah. So I couldn't even get a guy to pull her.
Yeah.
So that's just to show how intimidating everyone is, or how intimidated everyone is by Sarah. But so we weren't able to make that happen. So for now, it's our first event. We're going to keep it on the smaller side with the 2 super matches, get everything running well. We have plans of running several more. It's called Sin City Arm Fights. This will obviously be number 1. We already have other matches in mind, other super matches in mind, and obviously another tournament. For this tournament, there will be 4 weight classes for men, 3 for women. However, if the women don't show, they will get combined. It's the way it is. Yeah. We wanted to give everyone an opportunity, but if you don't show up, you don't show up. All we can do is offer it. So, but for the men, the winner of each weight class in the pro division will win $250 cash. Second place, $100, and third place will be $50 to get their entry fee back, basically. Obviously, whatever profit comes from this event is going to roll over into the next one and into the next one and so on. We want to build this thing up and be able to bring bigger names out and bigger matches and, just grow it, help the sport of arm wrestling and especially give something out here in Southern Nevada. And I'm surrounded by the right people. I got the right guys on my team and in my corner to help. So I think it's going to be something that's going to be great, man. It's just, it's a slow crawl, but as long as you're going up.
Mate, it sounds fantastic. I'm just going to whip through a couple of super chats. We got $5 from Carolyn Loom. She is an awesome supporter of everything arm wrestling. Says, can't wait to see you beat Larry, Brandon. When you're in Dubai, please will you ask Adam Silver if he'll take a match with Gary Roberts in the future?
Interesting. That would be cool.
I'd like to pull out Adam Silver. He's a great dude. But we're going to get to the whole Larry thing in a moment. White Wolf says, Brandon, we freaking love you, bud. We want you to win everything and everywhere. You are the most popular arm wrestler in North America. Let's go, Brandon.
Oh yeah.
White Wolf's awesome. Got some real. That's like you touched on it earlier. That's what's awesome about the arm wrestling world. They're accessible. They're accepting. They're loyal and things like this. Everyone in the chat comes to every show. People have come in excited to see what you're all about. So yeah. Thanks everyone for supporting Brandon and supporting me. Now, the good thing about this event, if you are anywhere near Sin City, you get your car and you attend this event. We want it stacked. We want heaps of people to turn up. Even if you just make the drive just to say g'day to Brandon and then watch Mike Aiello be an absolute superstar. Just go down there and check it out. Now, if you're someone like me that probably just can't make it or might just miss it this weekend, head over to Brandon's YouTube channel. Brandon Allen Filthy Power Gym. Is that what the YouTube channel's called?
Brandon Allen Filthy Power.
Brandon Allen Filthy Power. Go over there. It's going to be live on Brandon's YouTube channel. So make sure you get over there. Obviously, subscribe, like everything to it. But make sure you get over because just the two super matches alone is worth the car ride. And then, because I've spoken to a few people, two in particular out your way, the Latonas, Jason and Sarah. And from early on when I started my arm wrestling journey, they've been nothing but nice. So, there's some good people down your way that you mentioned before, including those two. Do you deal with those two much?
Oh yeah, they're a big part of my success that I've had in arm wrestling. Jason told me the time, Sarah as well. They come over to my house weekly for practice. We're good friends with them. We love the guys. Jason's going to be doing the live stream commentary on my channel. So look forward to that, and I'm sure he'll give you a good play-by-play and everything going on.
Yeah, beautiful. So Eric versus Mike, who's going to win?
I love Mikey and everything like that, but Eric, I love Eric as well. And Eric is just a fucking monster. I just don't see him losing. I know Mike stylistically is a good for Eric. I mean, it's a tough match for Eric, but until you felt Eric's Photo's power out, it's crazy, man. It's something else. So I think Eric's gonna run through Mike well. So that's what we're hoping for. We'll see how it goes.
It's look. Mike Aiello, I owe the guy plenty of beers. Everyone knows my second ever podcast was with Mike Aiello and I didn't even record. That's how bad I was at technology. So I owe Mike Aiello a lot for being a ledge. But I'm with you. I think Eric Spotto just runs through him. But any chance Mike Aiello gets his shirt off, he will. So he will think he's a winner anyway. That's what we love about Big Mikey. And then the left hand...
He wasn't scared at all.
The left-hand match between Cody and Tony. Who's your tip?
This is, it could be a good one. We'll see how, stylistically how it's going to go. I know Cody's a lot. I think Cody might be too much for Tony, but I also know Tony, he's a gamer, and I know he's not going to lay down. And I know he's been training real fucking hard for this, so I'm excited to see what Tony can do. I'm thankful for him to take the match and come out and do it. We'll see how it goes, but it's going to be interesting. I'm curious, but again, I think that Cody has the edge there.
Well, lucky you said that because Cody Merritt's in the chat and he says, Brandon, you horrible piece. No, he didn't really. But Cody's one of the nicest guys ever. He's a world champion on the left hand and the Aussie Armwrestler is definitely tipping Cody Merritt. Absolutely love that guy. I think he's a legend. So it's going there. Now, Now, guys, go to Brandon's channel. Get over there, subscribe to it, get over and watch the live stream. The Aussie Armwrestler will definitely, if you get no viewers, you'll definitely have one. My alarm will be set for next weekend. Cannot wait for those matches. Now, you get the phone call, and suddenly you're off to Dubai. You're in like your second official super match ever.
Yeah.
You're going to be on pay-per-view, you son of a gun. How has this come across? How did this happen?
It's pretty wild, but obviously, Hathor didn't get that boxing promotion because he's the greatest boxer. He got it because of what he's accomplished in strongman, and then converted over to boxing. Same thing with this. I'm getting this opportunity because of what I've done in powerlifting, and me and Larry having similar backgrounds and things like that, right? So I know I'm not invited because of how amazing of an arm wrestler I am. So, but either way, I'm excited for the opportunity. I couldn't be more grateful to Larry. I've been wanting to pull Larry for a long time. He was in the States earlier this year, and traveling around. I was hoping to be able to get on the table with him. He had planned on coming to the West Coast as well. There was a tragic accident where he lost his best friend, and he ended up going back to Dubai. So, Black Tom Cruise is a friend of mine as well. Nothing like with Larry, just through social media and things. So, that sucked. It was a big hard hit for the powerlifting community. He was a really loved guy. But anyways, we lost Larry back to Dubai. He was no longer in the States. So I just kind of thought, man, that opportunity came and went, and because when am I ever going to be in Dubai, right? And I was like, well, maybe next time Larry's in town, or we'll get a chance maybe next year. So then one morning I wake up and I have a DM from Larry, and then he was like, hey, would you be interested in competing against me at King of the Table too? And it's like 5 in the morning, and I'm taking my morning shit, and I'm like, Jenny, Larry wants me to fucking pull him at King of the Table too. I'm all excited. I'm like, yeah, man, hell yeah, I can't wait. And super stoked for it. So, couldn't be more happy for the opportunity. It's going to be unfortunate for Larry because he is going to get another loss. I am a huge Larry Wheels fan. Always have been, always will be. But he maybe, if he was looking for a win, he maybe should have chose someone else. But I'm excited for it, and I'm going to do what I got to do to win that match.
Now, for those that don't know, Brandon's been talking about, he is going over. He's going to be on pay-per-view. Check that out in December 11th. He is going to pull Larry Wheels at King of the Table too. Now, do you feel that Larry picked you as a friend? Do you feel Larry picked you because it was an even matchup? Or do you think Larry picked you and thought, I'm going to get my first professional win?
I think there's kind of a combination of all what you said. So I truly think Larry thinks he's going to beat me. I mean, I think I'm going to beat him.
Yeah.
We're both gamers. There's no way he doesn't think he's going to beat me. So I'm sure he thinks that. I also think that, was it a friend thing? Sure. I think the similar backgrounds makes it exciting, and it just makes sense. Also, losing a schoolboy when you're someone the size of Larry sucks, because Schoolboy doesn't look like much. So if you're not an arm wrestler, you don't know who he is, and it looks bad, right? Even though Schoolboy's a fucking monster, But at least I think with someone like me, if it's a close match and Larry loses, like, he's 320 pounds. So there could be a little bit of that as well. But I really think it's going to be a good match. I think it's going to be a fight. I think, I don't want to go into predictions or anything like that, but I'm extremely confident I'm going to win, and I'm sure he is too.
Mate, I think when it was announced, I thought it was an absolute barn burner. I think it'll match up really well. I kind of like it because both fairly new to the sport, so there's going to be a lot more strength than technique. So I think so it's a real combat in this one. I'm just picturing like two walruses, two oxes just going bang, head to head, and just, almost like a tug of war. I think it's just going to be, and hopefully no one gets injured, but I can just see tendons just like a string of cheese, like right on the end, ready to go. It's going to be a killer match. And if you guys missed out on the early bird pay-per-view, you're silly. Just deep dive into your pockets, because as you can see, Brandon is just a character, so it is worth just the price of admission alone to see him back on the table and doing something against Larry. I mean, it's going to be a bit rude of you if, you know, he invites you over to his house, invites you over to his backyard, and then you humiliate him on his own show. It's going to be interesting. So far, we've done a poll. So far, 41 people have voted, and 59% think that you're going to win. Look at that. Go. So then, before we go on to the next thing, what's the difference between power and filthy power?
Well, it was a little play on words when I came up with my brand 10 years ago or so. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry, it wasn't that long ago. 7 years ago. When I came up with my brand, and you know, filthy power is just funny because it's, you know, there's a clean way of doing it and there's a dirty way of doing it. And if you know anything about me, I do it the dirty way.
I think the name's cool. I think it's catchy, and I just saw it because the only reason I thought it was called Filthy Power because you're probably the only lifter I know that doesn't wax his back. So, you know, you just let it all grow out. So I was like, yeah, that's filthy. That's awesome. That's
totally. I just thought it was a cool name for the gym too. And I was like, Filthy Power Gym. Like, this is cool, you know. And it caught on. You know what I mean? It's I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out.
Oh, it's awesome. Show everyone the shirt. The shirt's awesome. That he's even wearing now. I think that just looks cool. Just that in general.
Yeah, I got a website being developed right now. It'll literally launch tomorrow, filthypowerindustries.com. I'll make sure I post it all up and you guys can get some gear.
I'm just writing filthypowerindustries.com.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just so I'll put it in the comment section and share it around. So people can go over and buy some. I mean, how can you not? Look at him. Look at him! You know, he can probably lift your house over his head, but he's got $1 million smile, and you know, how can you not buy something? I'll definitely help out as much as I can there. Someone's just asked, what is your current weight at the moment?
It was like 309 when I woke up this morning, going to bed around 313, 314. Climbing up to I want to wake up at 320 for the match with Larry. So I've already upped, you know, the calories and eating a whole nother meal a day. It'll be a slow climb, but you know, I have 5 weeks, so if I put on, you know, a couple pounds a week, I'll get there easily.
Your shit must be massive. Dinosaur.
Oh yeah, my grocery bill. Grocery bill too.
Oh yeah. So what's the because a lot of arm wrestling fans are strength lifting fans as well. So like, how many calories a day are you pumping in, and how many times a day are you eating?
Not nearly as much as when I was powerlifting. Also when I was powerlifting, I was 370 pounds, so much larger than I am now. But right now, I'd have to say around 6,000, 6,500 a day. And, you know, I eat fairly clean for someone my size. I follow the vertical diet by Stan Efferding. So I eat a lot of rice, a lot of red meat, a lot of salt. And that's, you know, the main premises of my diet. And, of course, there's other things with the diet to get all the micronutrients and other things you need to digest properly, eating that much red meat and whatnot. So, yeah, you know, I'm fairly lean for my weight. You know, that's for sure. And very dense, and I'll get a little fluffy for this match. Obviously, introducing the pancakes, as you guys call it in the arm wrestling world, is going to add some water retention as well. So you'll definitely see a little more bloat in me in the next few weeks, which you know, is expected. And I'm sure Larry's going to be a little more bloated as well, even though he's just a genetic mutant that is just so ripped year round. You know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's just massive numbers, and yeah, and you're doing it like a clean way as well. I think that's, yeah, man. Your biggest was 370 when you were powerlifting. That's just,
yeah.
Wow, that is massive. Just quickly,
I'm only 6'1", so
it's But if your biggest was 370, would you go down to 270 if you shaved your beard?
Probably a little less, but yeah, around there.
That's a mean beard. It's awesome. It's a mean beard, but Mrs. Aussie Armwrestler's not a fan of the beard, so I'm a bit of a clean
My wife
shaven.
would leave me. It tickles the right spots, you know what I mean?
Yeah, beautiful. My man. Carolyn Looms again in the super chat. She goes, Brandon, do you think Larry's wrist wraps he wears hurts his arm wrestling when he lifts?
No. So that's a little misconception that I'm seeing from arm wrestlers, not understanding how it affects your deadlift. I even had people comment with me, why are you wearing straps when you deadlift if hand strength is so important? The answer is simple. Like when you're deadlifting, powerlifting style with an over-under grip, your arms are fresh because you're not beating them up all week long. You know what I mean? They're just, the only work they're really getting is bench pressing and then hanging onto the bar. But with all the extra arm wrestling work that we do, your tendons are so inflamed and so just constantly hurt. You can't hang on to weight. It's just it's hard. It's hard to explain. It just hurts so bad. You can't hang on to big weight. So myself included, I wear figure 8 straps when I do big deadlifting. And again, it's not like the only grip work being done for Larry is his deadlift. He's doing arm wrestling specific grip work. So I'm sure his grip is exhausted like mine, to where it doesn't make sense to do, you know what I mean, for the deadlift. Because you have to remember, when you're powerlifting training, you're only deadlifting once a week. So you have all week for your arms to recover. You're not hitting arms, 5-6 days a week, in between there. It's not possible. So that's the answer. I don't think it's hurting him, no. I think Larry's a phenom, and I think Larry knows what he's doing. And I think Larry gets a little less credit than he should in what his training and what he's doing. I think he's doing a lot of things right. What the fuck do I know?
Of course he is. I mean, look at the way his body looks, and he puts his body. I mean, when it comes to competitive powerlifting and the level that you reach, you put your body through so much. And Larry, only still being a young whippersnapper, he can. He's done it for a long period of time. I think he's doing it phenomenal. Oh,
sorry about that. I had another call. I just declined it.
Nah, that's all right. So how does your next 5 weeks of training look like, and when do you think you'll just taper off and just get the massages in the arm for the big match?
So I've been charting everything that I'm doing. I'm mimicking the prep that I did for Dave Depew with a few slight variants. I post quite a bit of content on YouTube now, showing you guys what I'm doing, and Instagram. But basically over the next 5 weeks, I have one more table practice, which is this weekend. I'm going down to California to pull with Derek Smith and Mega Mike. So that'll be my last hard actual table practice, to where I'm going to complete exhaustion and further. Then our tournament, which is the following weekend with Mike Aiello and Eric Soto's match, I'll probably do some after pulling, but nothing like a hard practice. Just gripping up with a few guys, and I'm sure I'm going to be tired from the week before. But my in the gym training is going to continue to progress. So I'll stop the table work at 5 weeks out. In the gym training will go all the way up until 2 weeks out at a max effort at 2 weeks out, and then the 1 week out will be kind of like speed and explosion work, and just kind of running through the motions, super light, getting blood flow to help aid in recovery. And the last week will be kind of doing nothing and just resting. Before my match with Dave Depew, I took 5 weeks of table time off. It seemed perfect. It wasn't too long to where I felt like my arm was too uncoordinated, and it wasn't too short to where I was in any pain. Because when I pulled Dave, I had zero pain, nothing hurt. I was adrenaline and whatnot. I was ready to go. So, I'll push it all the way up until 2 weeks out, continue to progress with rep maxes. And then, that last 2 weeks out will be my hardest arm workout of this entire prep, which will obviously, and then, there'll be no table practice for, 3 weeks going into that. So I won't be sore really. And then I'll really just have a lot of time to recover. You can push it in the gym, in my opinion, in the gym further than you can on the table, because, the gym, no one's going to, just add 80 pounds of side pressure somewhere that's, that you're not expecting, that's going to cause some tendon pain or anything like that, like can happen in the table.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And how long are you just flying in, flying out, or are you going to spend a couple of weeks there? What's the Dubai trip look like for you?
I believe we're going to be there for 7 days. We'll be there 4 days or so, 4 or 5 days before the event, and then be there for like 2 days after. It's a brutal travel. It's a 22-hour flight. It's not going to be comfortable. It's going to suck. But, I get a couple days to acclimate and get my weight back up because I'll definitely lose weight on that flight. I'm not able to eat all my meals like normal. Larry's going to Larry was gracious enough to cover this whole trip for me and my wife. Couldn't be more happy for him for that. I figured I'd be covering my wife's fare, and which is what I proposed when we first set this up. And he said, no, I'm taking care of it all. So, tons of gratitude for him for that. He doesn't need to fly my wife out there. But, so again, we don't really have all the accommodations yet. It's just, we just had some more passports and things like that. So things are happening. I'm sure we'll know very soon, the exacts of everything.
What a guy. Yeah, I think some of the behind the scenes stuff about Larry, like everyone's quick to rag on him about his arm wrestling training and his arm wrestling knowledge, but I think people forget that he's just a ripper guy to be able to do that. I mean, yes, he may have the money and his YouTube and everything else is going great, but he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to do it. He could sit there and be a dick and go, you know what, Brandon, if you want to come on my show, get over here. But he said, no, not only you, your wife, I'll sort it out, come over, don't worry about it, you'll be looked after. So yeah.
I would have gone either way. Yeah, I didn't expect him to pay at all. When he asked me to come out there if I would do it, I had no expectation of him. I thought for sure I was paying for this. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? Why? I'm the one that's getting the opportunity, in my opinion. So he's been more than gracious.
Yeah. He's a rock star. A couple of people want to know who benches more, you or Larry?
Larry bench presses more than I do. Yeah, I was in powerlifting. I was more known for my squat. I squatted 1,008 pounds, significantly more than Larry squatted. Me and Larry deadlift the same amount of weight. We're both in the high 800s, low 900s. And then Larry definitely had the edge on me at bench. I think like a competitive bench, Larry has like 633 or 650 something. Like it's a big number. And then my biggest bench in a meet was 589. Actually, no, I think 573. Yeah, 573.
That is definitely filthy numbers there. White Wolf with a $2 super chat. He says, King of the Table needs to expand the number of super matches. There is only 3 at the moment. With your short time in the sport, Brandon, if you're organising super matches, just say a day of super matches for TV, how many would you want to put on? I think my personal opinion is 5. I think for something that Larry's doing, I think he needs 2 more, and that'll do.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think 5 is the right number. 5 was the number we wanted in our tournament. It just didn't work out that way. But again, we're hosting a tournament as well. It's not just super matches. So we also kept that in mind, and we also know that we're growing, and it's our first one. But, I think 5 is the right number. Keep everyone entertained. You can have, 5 gives you a chance to have 1 or 2 lighter guys, and then some of the bigger guys who everyone wants to see, and then maybe even a female match if there is, a stacking of card. There's just not enough ladies in it yet. I still think, that's changing, the more and more it grows, more exposure. It's the same thing in powerlifting, guys. Like, don't be discouraged, ladies. When I first started powerlifting, I was the prettiest girl at a meet. Now you go to a meet and there's women everywhere. There's almost more women than men. So it will grow. It just takes time. And the more social media presence, the more the girls get involved. And then the more women that are involved, the more men that are involved. So it's it'll happen. It'll grow.
Absolutely, because as soon as the wives say no more, let's face it, there's no more. Like if Mrs. Aussie Armwrestler taps you on the shoulder and goes, take me out for lunch, stop talking to Brandon, suddenly the stream ends and I'm out of here. So, yeah, we're big here in Australia. We're really, of course, what's happened with the going on in the world, but we are massive on building the female side of it because, from the outside, the sport looks intimidating. You know what I mean? If you turn up to a gym and it's like, let's arm wrestle, but then it's, you're welcoming and it's like, come over, come pull, and
right.
the sport as a whole have been awesome like that. So I just hope more women get involved and more women turn up to events, and especially the one that is happening down at Sin City. It's going to be awesome. Now, you briefly touched on it. I found it very interesting when I found out you have been to the land down under. You've come and you didn't even pop in for a beer. So it was 2018. Whereabouts did you go? Tell me the story.
I competed in Melbourne. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Frankston, just outside of Melbourne.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You know that area?
Mate, I used to live in Frankston. I live about a 25-minute ride from Frankston. I used to live in a town, yeah. Oh, mate, Frankston. I met my wife in Frankston.
Is it called the Quest Hotel?
Yeah.
Or Search of the...
Yeah, the Quest, yeah.
Yeah, that's where we stayed. I was out there for, the biggest powerlifting meet in the world, especially at the time, was Big Dogs.
Yeah.
This was Big Dogs 3. Again, I was just at the top of the world in the powerlifting game. And me and my wife went out there for that. And mind you, we paid for that whole trip ourselves. We didn't have the graces of Larry Wheels taking care of us. It was an expensive trip, that's for sure. We went out there and I competed. It did really well at one of the biggest stages in the world. And we stayed for a week after to try to enjoy it. And we didn't, plan it well because I was 365 pounds for that event. I just squatted 1,000 pounds and I was so exhausted afterwards. And, we ended up spending most of that week just hiding in the hotel room while I was trying to recover. Because I was just in no condition to go walking around and do things, you know what I mean? I mean, we did a little bit. We went wine tasting out in the country. It was gorgeous. A lot of fun doing that. We went to a couple of the animal sanctuaries because, mind you, we don't have any marsupials in United States. So we wanted to see some marsupials for the first time with our real eyes, and that was cool. But again, I was just in no condition to enjoy the time. It was a business trip, that's for sure.
Mate, to squat over 1,000 pounds, and I cannot believe you were just down the road from the Aussie Armwrestler, and we didn't even get to catch up. But that's all right. That's awesome. Yeah, when I was looking that up, I was like, I wonder whereabouts. And then when you said Big Dog 3, I was like, I reckon that was in Melbourne, but I didn't realise it was bloody down the road from my house. Like that's awesome. And Frankston's a lovely area, and of course, as I mentioned, I met my wife. Now, anyone that comes on the show has to play arm wrestling's favourite game. It is called Pin One, Lose One, Get Rid of One. And because you're a special guest on the show, you get to play it twice. What is going to happen? I'm going to give you 3 names. And you have to tell me which one you're going to pin, which one you're going to lose to, and which one you are telling no more arm wrestling for you. You're barred. You're not even allowed to come into the sport.
All right, let's hear it.
So your 3 options. You've got your opponent in Dubai, Larry Wheels. And everyone in the comments, make sure you play along as well. You've got Eddie Hall. And then, of course, we've got Hapthor, Thor Bjornsson.
All right. Well, me and Hathor have a little history.
Whoa. Well, let's just stop the game right there. What do you mean you got a little history?
Okay, so when Hathor did a powerlifting competition in 2018, around the time of Big Dogs 3, when there was talk of him going to do a powerlifting event, all of us big dogs or the big powerlifters in the world were excited to have big name strongmen like that transferring over. But we wanted him to compete at Big Dogs, and come do it with us because anyone that knows doing a meet on your own terms when you feel strong, it's easy, much easier than saying you need to be strong on this day at this time and show up here and do it here against all these other people. It's a whole different animal. So what my concern was like Hathor's going to do a total at his home gym with his friends judging type thing on his own terms, and then they're going to compare his numbers to our numbers when we're competing. I'm trying to hit a deadlift attempt to win, not to do my best deadlift. It might be more than what I can possibly do because we're just trying to win, right? Yeah. So there's competitive side of it. And I remember I made a comment like, "That's awesome that you're doing a powerlifting meet. I just wish you would do it at Big Dogs." And let me tell you, when you comment on someone that has 1 million+ followers and they're all Game of Thrones fans and have no idea what the fuck powerlifting is, it was just crazy coming at me with this shit. And you're people like questioning if I'm even strong. Oh shit. And it was funny. And I was like, I'm a big fucking Hathor fan. I just want to see him do it on the real stage. He had made a comment. We talked in the DMs. It was good. We ended up, because we did a seminar together just maybe a month prior at Iron Addicts Gym in Las Vegas. We're good. It was me, him, Jerry Pritchard, someone else. There's one other person there. Anyways, yeah. So we were on good terms and stuff. And I think he took a little offense to it that I was like talking shit when I really wasn't. I just wanted to see him do it on our stage. And what happened? Sure enough, everyone compared his numbers to our numbers after, just like we said was going to happen. But I still out-totaled him, which was pretty cool and made me happy. So, but again, I like Hathor. You know what I mean? I like what he's doing in boxing. I'm a fan of his regardless. So, I want to pin Larry Wheels. Yeah. That's what's gonna happen. That's what. So that's the pin. I guess lose to. I guess it would be Hathor. I got a lot of respect for the guy like that. This isn't saying I don't like Eddie Hall. You just gave me very few options, and I don't have any interactions with Eddie Hall, so we'll get rid of him.
Yeah, that's what I find fun about the game, because everyone's quick to pin someone. They're like, I'll lose to them. They're like, oh crap, now you got to say I've got to get rid of this guy. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind losing Eddie Hall either, but again, you gave me, I only had two options, so.
Alrighty, so now we're going to play the game again, but this is to do with deadlifting. So you've got to beat someone in deadlifting, you've got to lose to someone in deadlifting, and then you've got to tell someone you're never allowed to deadlift again.
If it's a sumo deadlifter, this is going to be easy.
And it's the same names. I'm going to give you Larry, Eddie, and Thor.
Oh, fuck. Well, I don't know. That's another one. How do you... all right, well, I'd like to beat Larry because we're very close. I think Larry does have the edge on me. But I'd like to beat Larry. Lose to Eddie Hall because he is the first and only person to pull 1,100 pounds and the best deadlifter there is in terms of strongmen. And then I guess we'll get rid of Hathor because he's all skinny and lengthy now. He probably can't deadlift much.
Now, you made an interesting comment just then saying Eddie's the first and only person.
I believe he's still the only person to pull 1,100 pounds. I mean, am I wrong?
Well, didn't Thor break the world record not that long ago?
You might be right. Honestly, it's hard to keep up. With lockdown. Well, okay, no, I'm going to still say Eddie Hall because Thor did it, but Thor did, or even if he did do it, he did it at home. It wasn't on the big stage. It wasn't in a sanctioned event. It was like a home lift that they were counting as an all-time world record, which is very not the way it works. I remember there was a lot of controversy around that. I wasn't a fan of it. I mean, it was an amazing lift. He did the lift, but to now call that the world record would be wrong, in my opinion. You need to do it on the date, at the event, type of thing.
Beautiful. Now, a couple more questions before we wrap this up, because I really appreciate your time, my man. So, being new to the arm wrestling sport, let me know, what's the one thing you've really loved about arm wrestling and the one thing you really haven't loved about arm wrestling?
Okay. Well, let's talk about the negative first then, I guess. Just in the social media platforms, like in Facebook and the pages and stuff like that, you have all the intermediate and low-level guys that just fucking chirp all day and talk shit and whatever, you know what I mean? It is what it is. That's how it is in powerlifting. You hear the low-level guys are talking shit and the big guys are keeping their mouth shut. I don't like the denial of PED use in arm wrestling. It's very weird. It's like I'm watching arm wrestling at the infant stage of the fitness community and powerlifting, how it was 10 years ago, where you had people that were clearly abusing PEDs that were claiming they were natty, they're not. And for whatever reason they were at that time, it just wasn't really an accepted thing. There wasn't much knowledge on it, and people didn't really understand it. But now that it's more understood, in arm wrestling, you guys are delusional if you think these guys aren't using PEDs. You know what I mean? You just are. And the guys that say they aren't, they're lying to you. I promise you. You can look at guys who are coming up who are getting really strong. You can look at significant differences in them, and from just a couple years ago to now. you don't hit these random growth spurts in your 20s and 30s. Like, that doesn't happen. You know what I mean? They're introducing PEDs. So, again, it's a weird thing, that they say. And then they talk shit about, like, oh, well, that guy's using steroids. Like, well, then why aren't you? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? And the thing that's funny is that person probably is. They just aren't as good, so that's their scapegoat, But again, there's no testing in arm wrestling, at least not in the federations that I would ever compete in. Same in powerlifting. There's federations in powerlifting that are tested, and if you use gear and then compete in those, I think you're a pussy, and I think you're illegitimate. But same thing in arm wrestling. If Larry was like, hey, do you want to come out for a tested arm wrestling match? I'd be like, fuck no, I don't. If it's untested, I'm coming. You know what I mean? So I think that'll change again with more understanding of it. I think in arm wrestling, you have people that are into arm wrestling that aren't really into fitness. So that's why it's so taboo for them. They don't understand it very much. And they think it's some miracle, but anyone that uses PEDs will tell you it's going to make you a couple percent points better than what you're at now. It's not going to turn a 130-pound guy into a 320-pound guy squatting 1,000 pounds. It's just, it's all genetics, you know what I mean? And then how you respond to PEDs as well is a big factor. So that's probably the negative. The thing I love is just the involvement of it, like how I'm watching it grow, I'm watching it get bigger, watching more people get involved, and I'm just I just love how you just continue to learn more from it. There's just so much, every time like I think like I have a move down, or I'm like, oh, I know I'm going to try this at practice, it's going to be great, and then I'll do it, it might work great, and then someone counters it, I'm like, oh fuck, okay, this move doesn't work, or at least it doesn't work to that counter. So you get to learn more. I feel like it's one of those things that you're just going to continue to learn as I progress, you know what I mean? And then it just is going to depend on how strong I can get at the moves, depending on how good I am, and then learn other moves and counter moves and things like that. So yeah, that would be the positive. And, just the community in general. The community is pretty cool. I don't like to act like everyone's so negative and shit. Like, it's really easy to avoid the negativity. Just stay off Facebook, and then arm wrestling is completely positive. Because you're never going to be at an event and someone's running their mouth like they do on social media because they can't hide behind the computer. Yeah, I think it's more positive than negative.
Oh, of course, absolutely. In any sport, you have the little chirpers like that. Yeah, I can't really see too many couch coaches, slapping a 370-pound Brandon Allen going, oh, you fucking don't know how to pull, dickhead, bro.
Right. So, it ain't going to happen. It's not going to end well for them.
Oh, mate. Father Filthy. Preach. Love what you're saying, my man. And then, just a personal one. Same question, but in the competitive powerlifting, because you got so much expertise on that. I've got friends in it that do powerlifting, but I haven't attended too many events. So what are the good and the bad things about that?
The good and bad about powerlifting? Well, powerlifting has grown exponentially in the last 10 years due to social media exposure. The thing that sucks about powerlifting is probably going to be the same thing that sucks about arm wrestling, that anyone can do it. Meaning in powerlifting, if you can squat, bench, and deadlift the bar, you can be a competitive powerlifter. There's no low level to it, other than if you can move the bar. So you get a lot of soft ass motherfuckers involved in the sport that don't necessarily belong. Where we're an underground sport. We're the guys that didn't do well in the team sports. We didn't. We chose a different lifestyle for a reason. And then you have these these pussies that are coming in that are ruining it for everyone because they fucking have their social justice agendas and shit like that. And that's probably the downfall of what I see is going on in powerlifting, which I think could happen in arm wrestling too. Where there'll be figures that won't be able to be themselves and be their outgoing funny stuff on social media because they're going to have this mob come after them every time they make a fucking post. That would probably be the negative of powerlifting. The positive of powerlifting is the exposure as well. There's a lot more opportunity. There's a lot more money involved. I don't know. If you can get paid doing what you love to do, why wouldn't you, right? It makes it way more fun. You don't have to work a 9 to 5 or stressing about doing, the coaching and all that kind of shit because you're getting paid to win at events. That would be great. And I think, powerlifting is kind of too there. You can pretty much make a living just competing in powerlifting if you're a big dog and winning events. And I think arm wrestling will get there too. You know what I mean? I truly do.
Ah, absolutely love it. Now, I'll get you to nominate someone. Who do you think should come on the Aussie Armwrestler show and have a bit of fun?
Come on the show and have a little fun. Well, who would I like to come on the show and hear him talk would be photo, but that ain't gonna fucking happen.
He doesn't like
he doesn't
doing
like
it.
doing shows.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't like them. No, I've interviewed him on my podcast. I mean, I've been friends with Eric for a long time, so I've been able to convince him to come on my podcast several times when I used to have podcasts. And he's a tough interview. He just doesn't like talking much. But he's one of the nicest guys you'll meet. You know what I mean? He's super charismatic, and if he would put himself out there more, it would be really cool. I know the fans would enjoy it. So hopefully that changes. Here he is doing a super match. We'll see how things go. You got fucking Larry talking shit about him and Levon going. Like, that would be awesome to see happen. There's a lot of cool stuff like that. So maybe we'll see a little bit more of Eric Spoto. But that's definitely who I would love to see an interview with.
Mate, don't worry about that. Challenge accepted. Eric, I'm coming for you. I've got Dave Chafee on the show, and he hates interviews, and he absolutely had some fun. Now, I need to hear Brandon Allen's best impression of the Aussie Armwrestler's catchphrase, Reeeeeady BANG!
Reeeeeady BANG!
Yeah! There it is. What a superstar. Guys, we've got Sin City Arm Fights coming up on the weekend. It's going to be awesome. 2 huge super matches, Mike Ayala versus Eric Spoto. Sorry.
November 13th.
Next weekend, November 13th. Too excited. Next weekend, that's why I've got you on this weekend. That's how excited I am. November 13th, Eric Spoto versus Mike Ayala. Cody Merritt versus Tony Tomlinson. 2 huge super matches, plus a massive tournament going on. All going to be live on Brandon Allen Filthy Power YouTube channel. And of course, Brandon dropping the bomb here on the Aussie Armwrestlers channel. Go to filthypowerindustries.com tomorrow. Filthypowerindustries.com. Go tomorrow. They're launching a website. You can buy some awesome merch. And then, with your leftover money from the great savings you'll get on awesome gym merch, go get the pay-per-view and you'll see this big monster just take care of Larry Wheels and push him over the table. Look at that. Brandon, mate, you're a busy guy, and I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show.
I really appreciate the opportunity. I've done many podcasts and interviews over the years. I'm excited that you're my first arm wrestling one ever. So this is hopefully the start of many more. Thank you for the opportunity again and introducing me to the arm wrestling community.
Anytime, my man, you are more than welcome. Guys, go like, share, and subscribe. Everything that is Brandon Allen. Check out his Instagram. He's almost at 100,000 followers. I mean, he is a very popular guy, and his YouTube channel is growing. So let's support this guy. And then if you're a bit left over, come look after the Aussie Armwrestler. Guys, we'll have him from there. We will see you next time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Take care.